One day you sit down with your sketchbook and instead of excitement, you feel nothing. Or worse, maybe you feel dread. The pencil feels heavier than it should while the paper looks hostile and unforgiving. You tell yourself, maybe tomorrow, maybe when I'm less tired or more inspired. But tomorrow comes and you feel the same, if not worse. Sometimes it sneaks in quietly, slowly chipping away at your spark. So, join me once again on a quest to become a better artist while we talk about burnout. A state that's very real and sometimes very hard to get out of. It's not just tiredness, it's not just procrastination. It's the slow draining of joy from something that once filled you up entirely. For artists, burnout can look like forcing yourself to draw and hating every second of it, or staring at the page and feeling drained, or experiencing pure dread when just thinking about drawing. But at the same time feeling guilty for not creating. And then comes the downward spiral. You'd think to yourself, if I was the real deal, I wouldn't feel this way. True masters of the craft never stop, which of course isn't true. Every artist hits this wall sooner or later. Burnout is human and winning the popularity contest of modern times. So let's talk about why burnout happens in the first place. First of all, burnout doesn't come from laziness. It often comes from caring so much you work yourself to the ground, ignoring the voice in your head which is begging you to stop and aching for some rest. Overworking or pushing yourself to create non-stop, never letting your brain or body rest is the quickest route that I know of that leads down this road. But sometimes it's the pressure or the endless demands of everyday life. Other times it's comparison, the endless scrolling through other people's work until yours feels worthless and insignificant. Some or all of these build up until your art doesn't feel like play anymore. It feels like a chore, an obligation. And obligation without rest and without balance leads straight to burnout. The first thing I want you to know is that resting doesn't mean you're quitting. When you take a break from art, you're not betraying your creativity. You're protecting it. Rest is part of the process, not a detour from it. For example, if you were working out, you'd get the most results by combining rest and workout days, not just by working out non-stop. The same goes for art. Rest and recharge days are just as important as the ones you create on. They're what recharge your battery and make it healthier in the long run. So if you're feeling burned out, please understand that you don't need to force yourself endlessly to push through each day. Sometimes the most creative thing you can do is to step away. But maybe you're not ready to take a full break. Maybe you still want to stay connected to art, but without the pressure. In that case, I find that stepping back from social media and looking for small sparks of joy can help a lot. Do something tiny, playful, and low stakes. Doodle in the margins of a notebook, collage, or start a journal. Draw something silly, something you'd never post anywhere. Put on your favorite show and just chill with your sketchbook. Sometimes it can do wonders. These little sparks remind you that art doesn't always have to be serious. It can be light, it can be dumb. Sometimes a 5-minute doodle does more for burnout than forcing yourself to sit down for a 4-hour perfect painting session. If that isn't working, you can always change the environment. Because burnout thrives in repetition. Same desks, same tools, same routine. It can feel like you're on a hamster wheel, stuck in the same loop for what seems like forever. One way out is to change the environment you work in. Sketch outside, try a cafe, sit in bed with just a pencil, switch up your usual tools, or switch from big canvases to sticky notes. I was always super conscious about drawing outside. I felt like the whole world was staring at me. If you feel the same, you can always try out your local museum or similar creative spaces where more people like you are usually drawing or sketching. This gives you a chance to meet some new people as well. Sometimes the act of breaking the routine, even in small ways, can wake up parts of your creativity that felt dormant. But it's also important to listen to what you need. Burnout is your mind and body saying, hey, this feels off, we need to do something about it. Sometimes the thing is rest, other times it's variety. But often, if those aren't helping, burnout can be a signal that the way you're approaching art doesn't align with why you started in the first place. Did you begin drawing just for fun, but now it only feels like work? Did you start painting for yourself, but now it's all about likes, followers, and engagement? Did you used to explore, but now you only make what's safe or what sells? In that case, burnout can be a sign to realign. To ask yourself, what do I actually want to make? What actually fills me with joy? There's also something we rarely say out loud. It's okay not to make art for a while. It's perfectly fine if you take a step back and not create for a month or even a year. You're still an artist if you don't draw every day. You're still an artist if you take a month off or if your sketchbooks are just gathering dust. Taking the time away doesn't make you any less of an artist. In fact, sometimes stepping back allows you to come back bigger and stronger than ever, with new ideas, a fresh perspective, and new energy. We're not machines, we're humans. And art, at its core, is a human act. But if you're in the thick of it and struggling with burnout right now, here are a few gentle steps I can recommend. The first one is to rest guilt-free. Allow yourself to step away without the pressure. The second one is to refuel, whatever that means for you. I usually enjoy spending time in nature and with friends and family, or even getting super addicted to a video game. Number 3, change the scale. Instead of full pieces, try tiny sketches that you don't share with the world. Number 4, change the medium. If pencils feel heavy, try markers. Number 5, reconnect with joy. Draw a fan art of your favorite show, sketch your pet, doodle nonsense. Fun is medicine. Number 6, limit comparisons. Take a break from scrolling. Not forever, just long enough to hear your own voice again. And number 7, schedule a drawing date in person or online with some friends where you can doodle and chat at the same time. Even if you don't feel like drawing, it's always fun to catch up. It's also important to talk about that sometimes burnout doesn't only show up in our art. It can spill into every other part of our lives as well. Work, school, relationships. Even the things that are supposed to be restful can start to feel draining. That's the thing about burnout. It's not just being tired. It's like your whole system is waving a red flag, asking for a break. You've been denying it for some time now. Personally, I went through burnout a couple of times throughout my life, but the hardest one was a few years back. I had the dream job and I was my own boss. I was working non-stop 11-hour days, 6 days a week, while working on building something else in the evenings and what little spare time I had left. After a couple of years of ignoring all the signs, I got very sick and I couldn't stand the job anymore, which was hard to come to terms with, hating that what I once loved so dearly. Long story short, I quit, closed a profitable business and focused on my health. For the next few months, I just stared at the ceiling until my spark came back. I was so beyond tired and overworked. Since I don't want that happening to you, especially not in your art journey, here are some signs general burnout can include. Feeling exhausted no matter how much sleep you get. Struggling to focus or remember things that used to come easily. Feeling detached or very cynical, like everything is just too much. Even the small everyday tasks like answering a message or stepping outside can feel overwhelming. Losing interest in things you usually enjoy, whether that's drawing, reading, or just spending time with friends. And while there's no quick fix, there are always small steps you can take. Again, give yourself permission to rest without guilt. Real rest, not scrolling endlessly, but things that restore you, like a walk, a nap, or reading a book. For days or months, it's up to you. Break everyday tasks into tiny manageable pieces. Sometimes doing one small thing is enough to create momentum. Don't hesitate to reach out to friends, family, or even professional help if it feels too much to deal with on your own. And try to revisit your boundaries. Are you saying yes to too many things? Are you carrying responsibilities that aren't yours to carry? Burnout doesn't mean you're failing at life or art. It means you've been giving too much without enough balance. And learning to recognize that on time, to pause, and to refill your cup is one of the best things you can do both for you and for your art. And if a job, any job, is giving you burnout, quit. I promise you there will be other jobs. I know we all need finances in our lives, but at the end of the day, it's not worth it if it's destroying your health or mental health in the process. Give yourself permission to rest. Let yourself step away. Trust that your creativity isn't gone. It's just taking a break. Because art isn't about endless productivity. And sometimes the best way to protect it is to pause, breathe, and begin again. As always, I'll see you in the next one.